Hello, world. My name is Ashley Collins. Welcome to my YouTube channel, The Breakup Diaries. I have a super special guest. I'm like trying not to fangirl very hard.
Lioness. I do a podcast talking with people about their stories, including mental health. There's been recovery, as well as basically people have stories. So let's discuss them, and hopefully it'll help somebody. On top of that, I do Instagram lives where I've just started a new one called Just Saying, where the world is ridiculous, so let's poke a bit of fun at it. And it always comes with a disclaimer because I know how people, you have to be careful with that one when you're saying your opinions. And I've also started a vlog on having a dry year.
Where did you get the name Flamed Lioness from?
Well, Lioness was a nickname given to me because of the way I go in on stuff. I can go quite fierce, and I'm sorry, my computer went a bit funny there. You just dropped off there, but I forgot. I've got you back now. Okay. I can be quite fierce. I'm very protective. I am very much like people. Literally, people are in my tribe. I look after them. They're in my pride. They're mine. They're mine to look after. So much so, I don't know if you can see it, but I have Lioness actually tattooed on me.
I love
that. And the flamed part came from. I always I went through a massive change a few years ago. I used to always have pretty much straight-ish. I straighten my hair all the time. As you can tell, it's a bit wet at the moment because I've just had a shower, but it's quite curly and wild. But I used to straighten it and be very dark haired. And I went through a massive breakup, and you know how those relationships can really like go, right, that's it, I'm going for a complete change, I'm going makeover. You know what they say, once a girl dyes her hair, she's never going back.
Yes. That's so true.
And literally, I bleached my hair. My hair, as you've got curls yourself, you'd know that bleach doesn't work very well with curls. And it nearly all fell out. Yeah. And I threw some red on it and hoped for the best. And I said, right, 6 months, and I kept it to red and looked after it. If it wasn't going to be fine after 6 months, I was going to shave it. I was going to shave it all.
Yes.
I was going to shave it all and start again. And I just stuck with the red, and it just became part of who I am. And people would say, like, the red suits you, you're fiery, you're feisty. And while I was coming more out and being me, the red got stronger and stronger. And then as I got more me, I added the yellow tips and make it look like flames. And then someone was like, you look like fire. And I was like, oh, I like that. Flame.
Yeah.
On. And now that's just my alias now. That's how I see myself.
I love that. I love that story. That's so awesome. Wow. Okay. So you've already talked to us about your YouTube channel and your podcast a little bit. What inspired you to create? So you did your podcast first, and then you did your YouTube channel. So what inspired you to create your podcast and then follow up YouTube?
Well, my podcast started in March last year. It was an idea. I'd been doing Instagram like 1 minute, like as a challenge, 1 minute a day to show what was going on or how I was trying to help myself and help my career. I was like in a very stuck place. So I had a life coach, and she kind of helped me through talking about how to show myself 1 minute every day. And then I got really, I've always been an advocate for mental health. Like, I will stand and picket the streets for mental health. But I never seem to, you can't get a lot in 1 minute. So I was like, I want to speak more. I want to talk more. I'm not bothered about videoing myself. I wasn't that confident. A minute is fine. You can forget about it after that. Bit different when it's videos that like are longer. So I was thinking of a podcast, and I went on, I was thinking for about a month that I wanted to do a podcast. And then Evan Carmichael, was doing a live, and I was talking to him, and he was like, yeah, and
What?
he went, just if you're thinking about it, just do it. And I thought, you know what? I got off the live with him, downloaded a voice recording app, downloaded Anchor, all done in the same day, sat in my kitchen, and that first podcast is like 12 minutes long, and it is just me rambling crap. I have no idea what I said, but it is still up there. It's still up there for people to listen to, because I think it's important that people can see where you come from.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of built on that. It was just me talking about mental health and how, you know, in any way that I could feel that I could help people. And then I thought, I want to get other people on and talk about their stories. And I don't want it to just be about me, because it's never just about me. I'm just kind of the channel. I like to be the channel. And I just thought, you know what, I'm going to start getting people on. And after, again, talking to Evan when he was doing another live, because I was like, dude, I'll get on here and I'll jump on. And he was just like, get on, be a guest, and I'll be your 19th guest.
Nuh-uh.
Yep. And he's man of his word. He wasn't the 19th, because by the time we arranged it, there was things, but he was a man of his word. And I've had over 30 guests now on my podcast, and I don't limit, like, I don't want just big names. I want everybody from, I've had my best friend on there, which I recorded today for the second, she's been on the second time now, recorded it, which will be uploaded. And I just love talking to people. I love that connection, because for me, I get out of it, out of the podcast, the initial recordings where I get mine out of, and I remember every single one. Every conversation touched me in such way. But as soon as I upload it, it's everybody else's. It's no longer mine. So it's out there for people, to help people in any which way they can. It can.
Yeah, I was scrolling through your podcast, because I started following you very early on. And as I was scrolling through it the other day, I was like, wow, she's done a lot.
Was it number 52? I was like, I've done 52. I'm quite surprised at this.
You're moving. That's awesome. Okay, so then what made you start to do the YouTube channel, the daily vlog?
Well, the daily vlog, it was something I had been thinking about, and people have been telling me, like, you need to get on YouTube, you need to do this. And I'm just like, when I'm ready. Because at the time I was just focusing on the podcast. I'm also at uni. So I was just trying to get everything balanced out. And last year I did a dry January. You know, we want to get a bit healthier. We'll cut out alcohol for a month and everything will be fine and dandy. Well, after a month, I was back to my old habits, and it didn't really change anything. And this year I was like, oh, well, I'll do it for 3 months. And I felt like it was a cop-out, because nothing ever happens in the first 3 months of any year, because it's not until it hits Christmas that people start, or at least in March when people get to St. Patrick's Day and stuff like that nobody bothers really drinking that heavy. I was doing my podcast, and 2 really resonated with me, especially around the subject of drinking. And it was Mike Arnold and Adrian.
Wait, Mike Arnold?
Yeah, Mike Arnold and Adrian.
Who's Mike Arnold?
Somebody had been following on Twitter, and he'd got a year's sobriety not long after I started following him. And I was just like, I want to hear your story. I want to hear your story. Literally, that's how I pick people now, is I just go, I don't even pick them. I feel like they pick me. I'm just like, I want to hear your story. Everybody must hear your story.
He's a YouTuber?
What? Sorry?
He's a YouTuber?
He's got a couple of YouTubers, but he's mainly on Twitter. Mainly on Twitter and Instagram. He's more of a personality of you just follow his story. But his story is really good, and he's come quite far.
Because I think we know the same person.
Oh, no. I've realized you know Mike Arnold and I know Mike Arnold.
Okay.
Yes, I noticed that too. I noticed that where I was like, does she know the same person I know? And then I realized 2 different people. but same name.
Okay, keep going.
And basically, well, she goes, Idra, she goes under the name of 100 Ways to Me, and she does Arnold. But they were both talking about how their sobriety had changed them, how and what had got them to that point, then also why they stopped drinking, how they got to the point of not, and it really. I've always had slight issues with alcohol. I started drinking from an early age, but I've never been like a heavy, like I've drunk every day. But there's been periods in my life where I've used it as a crutch.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought to myself, you know what? These people have done so much in just a year. I mean, Adrian's had gone on a lot longer, but in Mike's case, he'd done it for a year and he'd changed his life dramatically. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it for a year. I'm going to go drive for a year and I'm going to document it. And that's where it came from. Because I'd had the idea of YouTube beforehand, but as I said, I didn't know what I wanted to say, whether or not I was going to record my podcast, stuff like that. And I was just like, no, I have, what people don't realize is I seem like I'm this bubbly extrovert, but I'm really quite, I feel like sometimes neurotic inside. Like I am very much like, I have anxiety. I have high functioning depression. I have social anxiety at times that it feels like sometimes there's a voice screaming in our head to get out of a situation. But people don't see that. And I was just like, you know what? If I'm going to move on to the next level of my being, then how about I be a shield for somebody else? So that even if it helps the whole year, helps one person, you don't just help one person. People don't understand this and don't realize this, that if you help one person, you don't actually help one person. You help, it's like a ripple. You help that one person, you help their partner or their family who also goes on and helps somebody else, because that good feeling. And I always say ripples don't return. They don't return. So if ripples don't return, send out good stuff. Send out good stuff. Because if you're sending out bad, it's going to continue on bad. If you send out good, those ripples are going to continue on the good. But ripples don't return. You throw a stone into the water, those ripples ain't coming back. They're not going to spit the stone back out. They're going to continue on or into the waves. So I always say ripples don't return. So if you're going to send something out, make sure you're sending something good out.
Wow. That was like a $1 million advice right there.
That got you there.
I did. Wow. Because yesterday I was eating and this guy randomly paid for my lunch. He didn't ask for my phone number, nothing. He was just like, just pay it forward.
Pay it forward, yeah.
Okay. So today on the bus, I just put $6 in, and I was like, everyone behind me, I'm paying for them. So then on my way back home, it was the same bus driver, and she was like, sit down. You don't have to pay. And I'm like, so that's like, you saying that makes me think that like, wow, like that's so real.
Yeah. I always think if you ever wondering whether or not you're sending out good or not, I always think ripples don't return. Am I sending something out that I would want to continue on?
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Who are some people?
Everyone. Like, why stop at one? Like, everyone can inspire you. So, like, you can learn something from everyone. Like, the person you meet on the street, your best friend, a superstar. Everybody's got something to teach you. Everybody's role model. Some of the best lessons I've ever had taught to me were people that have literally come into my life for a couple of hours, then buggered off because they were only supposed to come in and teach me that. So that I love that kind of stuff. For me, everybody's a possible role model. I meet everybody on the same level. And if you if you can teach me something, I'll try and teach you something. And if not, we'll just enjoy each other's company for however long. I'll give you an example. I went to a TEDx talk last November, and the TEDx was brilliant. There was a couple of people that were not so great, but you know, there's some you learn from, some you don't. And there was a woman I got talking to on the breaks. She was space open on her table, so I went and sat down. And had a cup of family to even aspirations, and it is something that I will always cherish with me. And I hope that she feels the same, but that's none of my business. All I can know is what I felt from it. And that's why everybody to me is a role model, because they can touch you in such a way and then they can disappear again. We swapped numbers, but we obviously, neither of us contacted each other because we didn't feel the need to. From my point of view, I think we got what we needed from that conversation.
Yeah.
And then we parted ways. And that's why I say that anybody and everybody can be a role model. It doesn't have to be specific, like who you look up to. Yes, we all have those ones that we aspire to meet. But that's only because they are hard to meet. You're not going to bump into them on the street.
Yeah.
It's not like you're not going to bump into like Lily Singh or The Rock or someone like that, like walking.
I wish.
Oh, I know, right?
I love The Rock. Oh, I'd be like a magnet.
I can imagine that Rock's being kidnapped. We know where to look, don't we? But yeah, it's only because those people are hard to reach. And that's it. Like, we all get a bit of starstruck even if we did meet them, but that's because we've looked up to these people and idolized them for so long. But I realize that these people are just people, and to me they're just filled with more wisdom, more information that I could soak up, and that's all I want to know. But everybody's a role model.
Dope.
Oh, let me just add to that. Even if you don't like their characteristics, they're also role modeling how you don't want to be.
Yes, that's a huge one. That's it right there. Have you always been like this?
No. I'm gonna be honest. I used to be an incredibly negative person. I used to be a person that if I was to look back on who I was then, I wouldn't want to be friends with her. So much so, I was told by 3 people in 1 week that I was too negative. And also one of those was my supervisor, who told me I was turned down from a job because I was too negative, which meant I cried. And bless him, he didn't know what to do. But that was the catalyst. I knew I had to change. I had to change who I was, and it's been a fight. That was 6 years ago, and I've been fighting ever since. I've been changing. I've had to address a lot of stuff. I've had a lot of family issues. Also, I was teenage mother. I've had a lot done to me, and I used to blame the world. And it wasn't until I was just like, no. I always think no matter what the situation is, even if it wasn't your fault, you can take responsibility, because once you take responsibility, you take the power.
Yeah.
So, and it took me 6 years. I'm still working on myself, but every day I learn something new to give me a new perspective of something, even if it's just a small, slight shift. I always learn something new because I go out of my way to learn. But it's been a long road. As I say, it's been 6, maybe 7 years. It's been a long road. But I wouldn't change it for the world. I would not change it, because I would never want to be that person again.
Wow. That's so awesome. That's so inspiring. Wow. Okay. So you are so, what I love about your vlog and your Instagram is just like how you're just like, it's just so honest. and totally unfiltered and so raw. And what made you decide to do that?
The camera doesn't lie.
Uh-huh.
And if you are looking at yourself, because when you film, you look at yourself, right? It's a mirror. You have to tell the lie to yourself before it gets out there. So you're taking accountability to yourself before you're putting that lie out there. And anybody who can see their own eyes when they're lying generally stops. Because there's something about there is a lot of studies behind it, but you give yourself accountability. But there's also, how can I make myself better, as well as show people it's okay to be this way. It's okay to have these issues. It's okay to not be the same as everybody else. If I'm hiding behind lie after lie after lie because I want to be more entertaining, because I want to show that everything's grand if you do this, that, and the other, because that's just not me. I know every day is just, you know what, it's filled with bullshit half the time. Like, let's face it. Like, most days are filled with crap, and you've got to generally get through it. But you make the best of it.
Yes.
You make the best of it. And that's the thing is why would I? There's so much that people show of just a glossy cover, like a snippet, and people compare themselves. I'm not saying don't compare your film, don't compare yourself to somebody else's highlights. I'm like, I'm not giving you highlights. This is just my day-to-day bullshit. This is just the way it is.
I love that.
If you want to watch my day-to-day bullshit, then you know what? Thank you, because like I'm just living my life. But if I'm not honest, how can I live my credo of being able to help?
Yeah.
I can't help anybody if I'm lying to myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Ooh, that's right. That's word. Okay. So how, I feel like how do you juggle everything throughout your day, from being like a single mother to doing your podcast to doing your YouTube, like in your plus you're working out, plus you have to work, plus you have to go to school. Like how?
Well, I'll list the things that I do. So I do my blog. I do my podcast. I'm currently at uni doing psychology with counselling and psychotherapy. Which involves me having to drive about an hour and a half each way to get to, because it's quite a distance. I've just got back into working out properly. As I said, I do have 2 kids and they're both classed as disabled, although my eldest is now 16, so she should be looking after herself, but you know, mum's work is never done. And my daughter's type 1 diabetic, and my son is on the autism spectrum, and he has dust mite allergies, and he's severe asthmatic. So yeah, he got it all, bless him.
Bless him.
He's my sunshine. I love him to death. He's my sunshine. I also help out with a band, mainly the social media, but if there's any way that I can make connections, I try and do that. And then when I've got time, a social life.
Right.
So yeah, but I love it. It doesn't feel like work to me, and I think that's the key. I mean, don't get me wrong, last week I'm tearing my hair out because I'm trying to get this essay done, and I'm stressing about getting my grades, and you know, like, yes, there are going to be times when I am ready to literally build a fort out of duvets, hide in it, and never come out. Like, literally, at least once a week, I feel like I'm going to turn to being 6 again, build a fort, get loads of tea and biscuits, and just never come out. Like, bye. Either that or I'm going to join the circus. But it's one of those that overall, I always feel so blessed, not to sound so corny about it, but I am in a blessed position. I have the opportunity to go to university. I have two children that, yes, they are classed as disabled. They're happy and healthy. I have
Mm-hmm.
a house. I have heating, food, clothes on our back. I'm able to do all these other things in this day and age because of of where I was born, simply because I was born into a country that has that sort of stuff. Who am I to not be grateful for the situation that I was handed?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could have been born anywhere in the world, and I was who I am now is what 40 trillion to one, that 400 trillion to one, that I'd be me.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't I be grateful? And why wouldn't I manage it somehow? Like, I could be in a worse position. One small change in my life could have made things a lot worse. And no, I'm still not saying that I haven't had struggles. Like I say, like I grew up with a gambling mother, which was never easy. As I say, I was a teenage mother. I didn't find out I was pregnant until I was 6 months gone.
Oh.
And yeah, you can imagine how that one was. I have fought tooth and nail to keep my children. Like, when my daughter was born, my mum went a bit loopy and tried to take her off me. Also tried to decide that she thought that my daughter was hers. It was a weird situation. But I fought tooth and nail. I have gone from retail job to retail job. I've been fired from retail jobs simply because I couldn't meet margins because I have two disabled children.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone through all of that and other bits and pieces, but I am so grateful that I am in the position I'm in now because it was something I never thought I would be in.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't I be grateful for it? So I manage it because I love everything that I do. I put full love into it. I also, even at times when I get anxious about asking people to be on podcasts and stuff like that, I still manage to go, I'm grateful into this position to be able to ask. Now
True.
get off your ass and ask.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I have a choice, but I have no choice. Everybody has a choice in what they do, but when it's your purpose, you have no choice. I have no other desire to do anything else but what I'm doing now. And for me to go back into a retail job or anything like that I would die before I was dead.
Mm.
So for me, the way I balance it out is simply, I love every part of it. I love to learn. I have a busy mind. I love doing stuff. The idea of being still is just more than I could bear.
Yeah.
I love doing stuff. Like, I don't watch TV. I very rarely watch TV programs because I'm like, what can I learn today?
Yeah.
I will sit and, like, I have to be careful when I go to bed and I'll start read. Like, I'll bring up my essay work, like my uni work for the next day, because they give you stuff prepared the day before. I have to be careful because otherwise I'll start Googling, who's this person? And I'll start, like, the other day I was lost for an hour on there was a quote that came up. And I was like, I wonder if this quote's real and who this person is. And then I did the whole research behind the woman who said the quote because I wanted to learn. Literally, I'm like a sponge. I love this sort of stuff. But I'll take any part of information, but I have to, yes, I do have to forego my social life sometimes, but I'm lucky enough that my circle of friends, my tight group, they all understand.
Mm-hmm.
And they know if they need me, I'm there, like that. And the same vice versa. But yes, there are things I have to forego, but essentially I love what I do, and that's how I do it. I think that's the thing for people. If you love what you do, you'll find a way. That's it. There's, like, and don't get me wrong, you'll work harder than you've ever worked in your entire life. Because when you find something you love, you want to make sure it works. So you work 10 times harder than you would if you was stuck in a retail job, trust me. But you love it. You love the process. I mean, I kid you not, my bedroom has a 2-foot by 3-foot whiteboard in it that I plan everything on, and I start doing everything that I'm going to do because I love it so much. And I'm like, I need like tick, I've done this, and tick, I've done that. It's great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Awesome. Okay. What advice? Well, I want to record this. I'm going to do an inception. I'm going to do a video within the video, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to start doing a podcast? Yeah, that's what I meant. Podcast and or a vlog. Mainly me, because I want to start a podcast.
My advice would be just start. That's it. What's holding, like, for me, it was literally, I downloaded a voice recorder, I downloaded Anchor, and got on with it. Like, you can think of the perfect way to do it. You can think of, oh, well, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to have the perfect, everything that's been done on my podcast, I kid you not, has been recorded off my phone.
Wow.
I've literally, yep. I literally have done everything on my phone. It wasn't up until about a month or so ago, I got a proper mic. I've literally done everything on my phone. Which means, I always say, everybody has a phone. I don't care what you say. Like 90% of people in this world have a phone.
Yeah.
You have a phone, you have the world at your fingertips. You can find a way. Your phone is your biggest resource. It's your biggest tool. So just start. You don't know what's going to happen, and you will never know if you don't just start. That's basically it, really.
Wow. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's so true. Wow. Okay. Phone froze. Speaking of phone, I need a new phone. Wait, that's not it, is it? No. I guess so. I have to get to work anyway. Okay. Where can people follow you?
You can find me on Instagram, is where I'm mainly active. So Flame Lioness, but you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram under the name Flame Lioness. You'll find me. And my vlog, you can do #dry year. You'll find my vlog, or again, just look for Flame Lioness. Just Google Flame Lioness. You'll find my podcast. You'll find I'm there.
You're super easy to find.
Yes, it's not like my name is the only name on Facebook. My actual name is the only name on Facebook. There's nobody else under that name, which is quite interesting.
What? Lucky.
I know.
Are you super active on Facebook? I don't know. Can we be Facebook friends?
Of course we can.
Are you super active on Facebook?
My personal one, I not as much as I used to be, but I still check in on it because there's a lot of people I have on there that I don't have any other contacts for. But in general, I do keep it in touch with it, but I generally go on stuff for what I'm doing with my podcast and all that little basis.
I have a very hard time with Facebook. Like I feel like I can be doing more, but it's like
Facebook is the good all-rounder. I find that Facebook is your go-to stick-to fans. They're going to be there no matter what. They're going to be your cheerleaders come hell or high water. They'll be smaller than everywhere else, but they will be there for you. They will support you no matter what. Everywhere else, I find that also Facebook has the ability to be very negative.
Yeah, that's my problem.
People don't understand that social media is a tool. In the same as a hammer is. In one hand, it can build a beautiful house. In another hand, it could be a murder weapon.
Yeah.
It's all down, and people demonize it, like in the same way they've demonized money, makeup, the lot. They demonize tools, but tools are inanimate objects. It's how we use them. And you will see people, and it just shows them, as Gary Vee says, it's not changing people, it's just showing them for who they really are.
Yeah.
And God, people are really bloody negative.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly. Oh my God. Oh, I think he tweeted something yesterday. Like, I don't know, like the days are all running together for me.
Yeah.
He tweeted something. He said that your grandkids are going to see what you were saying on social media one day. And that was like, oh my God, I don't want them seeing what I said like 2 years ago.
It's that scary thing that my daughter's 16.
Mm-hmm.
I said to her, like, are you going to be using social media and stuff? And she's like, I'm quite happy using Instagram. I don't need all the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, what about Facebook? She's like, I don't need it. If I want to speak to somebody, I'll speak to somebody. And I was just like, if a 16-year-old can manage to gauge on what she needs and what she doesn't need, and what tools she needs and what tools she doesn't need, then why are we as adults, grown-ups, like struggling with this? I say that very widely because I do not feel like a grown-up, but I'm 33 and I do not, like, I still say when I grow up I'm going to be. But yeah, it's down to tools. It's down to, there's a lot of people that I have had to unfollow. I'm still friends with them because I still need to be in contact, but I unfollow because I don't want the negativity to seep into my mind.
Exactly.
And now I've gone, if I go straight onto Facebook and I see negativity, I come out, because my mental health is more important than anything that's out there on social media. I don't need to soak in that negativity when I am trying to rebuild my own mind as it is.
How do you, because see, like, I'll do that and then I'll feel guilty. How do you, like, do you ever have that feeling, or am I just overthinking?
I used to because I felt the need that I had to make sure everybody was okay.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're doing. You're checking in on people. You're checking. And my thought was, if they weren't on social media, would you still care what they thought? Like, there are people that we all know, we have on Facebook, and they're acquaintances. They're not. They're a little bit above. But I always think, if my circle of friends that I'm tight with and family that I'm tight with, as long as they're all okay, why do I care about what Debbie down road is feeling? Because she isn't feeling she isn't caring how I'm feeling.
That's so wow.
So check the people that check you are the people that you check. And yes, we'll reach out to those people we haven't spoken to in a while, and that's cool. And you do that because there's certain people that you don't speak to for ages. But in general, as long as your circle is good, that's all that matters. As long as the people that you speak to every day, as long as they're good, there's no need for you to feel guilty, because I can guarantee you those people ain't feeling guilty about you. Because nobody thinks about themselves more than you do. And I can guarantee you they're too busy thinking about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it all comes from. People are too busy thinking about themselves to be worried about anything else. And I get it. You are empathetic to people, and people who are very empathetic to others and feelings. I am the same. If I read something on the news, I read something on the news on Twitter, and I had to come off and give myself a minute because it really resonated with me so much that I felt it for a good hour afterwards. And it's one of those that you feel that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so empathetic that I saw one of my favorite types of bird had been run over, and it proper shocked me.
Oh.
So it was one of those that I know the kind of person I am. You have to know who you are. And if you are that empathetic, then you have to protect yourself. It's the oxygen mask theory. You have to get to the point where I have to look after myself first, because if I don't look after me, I can't look after anybody else.
Yeah.
And that helps you to kind of navigate who your important people are, who you give up that bit of time for, because no matter how much these people are and how important they are, you're always giving to them. So you've got to give to yourself first. And I was told this by when I saw a counsellor, that you got to think of yourself like a bank. If you're constantly giving out, you're going to be overdrawn.
Yeah, yeah.
Got to put money in for your bank to be able to pay your bills. You are a bank. Got to put into yourself before you can give out.
This is not random. Where are you located?
In Sheffield, in the UK.
Okay. Cool. I know that was that's I've been thinking about that for a while.
Yes, I'm in Yorkshire.
Okay, cool.
Hi, what can I do for you?
Sorry, I don't need you right now. I don't know what I said that. Oh, it's probably the cool. They probably said it. Thought I said Google. Okay, cool. So so is Brexit impacting you, or is that over? Is that over and done?
No, it's still ongoing.
Could you explain it to me from a smart person to a stupid person? Can you explain what Brexit is to me?
It's, from what I can get, and I wouldn't say I know all the ins and outs of it. And to be fair, there is still a lot of confusion over it. Our government decided that it wanted to leave the UN, but the EU, but wanted to take all the good bits. It's like having a breakup and then wanting to take all the good CDs, all the good clothes, like what you shared, or stealing all these hoodies and stuff like that. It was like, and the EU have gone, fuck no. If you go, you go. Like, we'll understand that we have exchanges because people go to and from us, but if you leave, why would we want to give you the good parts? You chose to leave. You're choosing to break up with us. We're not giving you the good stuff. And so it's been a constant, because there was a lot of lying, there was a lot of deceit over what politicians were saying was going to happen and what actually happened. Some people have changed from Remainers, like people who wanted to leave have now wanted to change their mind and wanted to stay. And now there's the talks of a second referendum. It's really up in the air. And the Prime Minister has tried to put deals in and nobody's happy with them. And we're supposed to be putting this deal in place when we leave in March, but nothing's been put into place. And it's like, the best way to put it is like a breakup gone, or a divorce gone terribly, terribly wrong, and the kids are suffering.
Yeah.
That's basically it. It's a divorce gone horribly wrong, and the kids, which is all us average folk, are suffering because there is so much confusion of where we're going to go. And all that, but the people that have come to this country to work, what's going to happen to them? Like, people who've gone from Britain that have gone to work in the EU and like France and stuff like that, what's going to happen to them? I always find that it annoys me with the government that these small group of people get to decide what happens to 1 million people, but half the time they don't listen to what those millions of people are saying.
It sounds like what's going on right now over here.
Yeah, it's to be honest, it's the synthesis of what's going on everywhere. Is these people have lost I feel like they've lost touch with the people they're supposed to be speaking for.
Yes. That's exactly it.
And I can't speak for everybody because everybody has their own political views. And mine has always been live and let live. As long as everybody gets a piece of the pie, nobody's starving.
Exactly.
So nobody should be getting put one above the other. yes, there are going to be certain hierarchies, because there are always going to be, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. A person who is a manager of a team of 200 should be paid more because they have to do more work, if they do more work. But they do. Hierarchies are not necessarily a bad thing, but when hierarchies abuse that power, then it becomes a bad thing. And in the same as over there with you, I have my views. I've always said that I don't think any businessman or woman, I don't care, man or woman, no businessman or woman should be running a country. Because yes, it is the American dream, and I am fully supportive of anybody can dream of what they want to be. But if you don't have the understanding of the ins and outs of political laws, you shouldn't be running something that lives depend on. You're not playing a game. This is not Monopoly. You are risking people's lives.
Yeah.
If you're risking people's lives and you don't have a clue on what to do, you shouldn't be running a country. And that's just not just for you guys over there. That's for here. If you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you shouldn't be running a country. I haven't got the foggiest. You know, I'm not going to be going for like prime minister.
Yeah.
Like, that would be me, like walking into Vogue and going, right, I am running this now because I have a lot of money. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, no, I haven't got the foggiest clue about fashion. And as long as I'm clothed, I'm good. Like, that's it. And so people who haven't got a foggiest of what they're doing, if people's lives depend on it, they should at least take it a bit more serious.
It should be.
And I just bitter divorces and too much ego.
Too much ego.
It's like, we know you've made your bed and we know you've got to lie in it until somebody else knocks you out of that power. But don't fuck up the bed. That's basically it.
True. This was so, thank you so much for talking with me. I know it's like super late over there.
Oh, no, all right. Oh, I'm not finished yet. I have a little like mastermind group that I've got meeting up in like an hour. So
I
don't finish yet. I don't clock off yet. Don't worry.
I love it. Okay. So what's a message that you want to leave with the world? Help
where you can. If you can, you have a responsibility to do.
Yes.
And I've always said it. If I can lay in my deathbed, and the moment I close my eyes, I know that I've helped just one person live just even a quarter of a better life than they had before, my life is fulfilled.
Yeah.
So it's always help where you can. And if you can, you have a responsibility to do.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. I feel like this is like, I need this wash of like positivity right now. Thank you for thank you for leaving me in flames. I don't know. Oh my God, you said something on a vlog. I feel like I'm like stalking you. I'm not stalking you. I might be. You said something on a vlog, and I'm definitely gonna paraphrase you. But you were saying how you're so angry, and you're like, well, if you're angry, use it.
Yeah.
And that's gonna shift for me.
Yeah. I always think that like you can be angry. Ain't nothing wrong with feeling emotions. Everybody has them. There's nothing wrong with it. But what you're talking about, I was pissed off at myself for not doing what I should have been doing. And I was like, well, I can either just explode the anger onto everybody else, and again, ripples don't return, and just keep sending out that anger and people carry on with the anger, or I could take it inside and go, right, you fucked up before. Let's not do this again. And every time I think, oh, I'm going to sit back and chill or whatever, that ball of anger of going, no, we know what happens when something goes, when we do this. Get up off your ass and get on with it. And take that anger, don't send it out, use it. Use it to know how to make yourself better. like these little like pods of anger you can use to reach. Like David Goggins says, it's like a cookie jar. You got to reach in and kind of take the anger out and use it, like to just give you that bit of power, that little bit of a boost. Like today, I was on a treadmill and I could feel my legs giving, and I was like, no, we've not done this. And then to reach that little bit further, I used to be a very big girl. I was 13 stone at 13. After having my daughter, I was in the UK size 26, like 24 to 26, which is pretty damn big.
Wow.
Lost a bit of weight, which is the only pictures I have. I'd lost a bit of weight, but that was after about a year. But before that, I was bigger. I would easily say a good 15, 16 stone. And yeah. And people used to take the piss out of me all the time. And every time I feel myself giving in, I would be reaching down like, no. Think of how it was when you let yourself go. We're not going there again. Reach on in, pull something out that made you angry and just fucking use it. And it works every time. And I haven't run 5K in 2 months, but today I ran 5K.
Nice.
It was one of those where I was reaching in, I was going deep, and that's exactly what I did.
Awesome. Thank you times a million. Thank you. This was so.
I'll have to get you on my podcast. I'll have to get you on my podcast.
Oh my god, I'd love that. Yes, I'd love that. I love that. Okay. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. I hope that if you didn't get something out of this, then like rewatch it again and again. You get something. My opinion doesn't matter, but I fully endorse Lynn. Definitely follow her on Instagram. Like she's just, and definitely follow her on YouTube, and also listen to her podcast. Just stalk the heck out of her.
I don't mind to stalk her.
Thank you guys for tuning in and watching. Be nice to someone today, every day, for the rest of your life.
Help where you can.